What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy J Dub, the number one comment on YouTube, and I'm back with another review. Today, I will be reviewing Married at First Sight. This is season 14, episode 14. The episode is called "It's Just a Blip." For those who are new to my channel, I do recaps of reality shows. I don't go over every single scene. However, I pick out important details and maybe some details you may not have seen. But before I get started, I have to tell y'all about the comments. The comment section is off the chain. When I tell you, I had so much fun and time just laughing and reading the comments, people going back and forth, people coming at me. I mean, that's what this channel is all about, the comments. I don't ask for the likes, I don't ask for the subscriptions, but you come across this content, I need those comments. Other than that, I could be on somebody else's channel just making comments, but this is where it's at. And when you make your comments, the motto of this channel is say what you say. Whatever you think, however you feel. You want to talk about Olajuwon. He got a missing piece on his new hairline with the fro hawk. You want to talk about Katina looking silent and crazy when she asked stuff. Whatever you want to say, that's the key. The only thing I ask is that we stay respectful with each other, because in these comments, the people moving around here, that's the Dove fam. So, we have a real community here. We go back and forth, laughing, debating, but, we together in all of this. So we don't treat each other poorly or disrespect one another. But, it's turning out just as I expected. It's not all about me, or you even have to interact with me so much. I just want to see y'all saying however y'all want. Make 1,000 comments, make 2 long ones, whatever you want to do. Just do it, because y'all, this is for real. This is y'all channel. Y'all have the freedom to do what y'all want. And like I said, it has been a great time, and let's keep it going. So before I get started, I want to say, y'all see my videos have been late because, I'm on my real estate journey. It's going to take some time till I get it all done. But I appreciate everybody's patience with me with my videos. And I'm going to work hard to continue to try to catch up with all that I have not. So as we know, with Married at First Sight, I do the segments couple by couple. And we're on the third installment. And this installment is Katina and Olajuwon. So let's go ahead and get into the review. We finally get to see Katina Olajuwon in an actual car together. Why you say that means something? Because I said it. I said, hey, has anybody seen Katina and Olajuwon ride in a car together by themselves? No, but on this episode we get it. They ride in a little Toyota Corolla. Of course, Katina's driving her king around, and they headed to Vermont. They're going to the couples retreat, and pretty much everybody is there. So they arrive, and of course the house is beautiful. It's a log cabin mansion. It got everything. It got a pool. It got a hot tub. It got a fire pit, nice sized deck, and everything. Room for everybody. Nobody has to sleep on the bunk beds that comes with the the Airbnb. So that works. So the guys, the husbands, they decide that they're going to cook dinner for the ladies while the ladies chill in the hot tub. And Olajuwon got to be different in a kind of way with Katina. So Katina can't walk and get into the hot tub just like the rest of the ladies. He has to pick his queen up and lower her in the hot tub. Even Lindsay said, hey, they got steps. She could have actually walked, which was a little bit funny. So while the guys, well, I might as well say Steve is really cooking the dinner, because he's the only one cooking. He's getting very little help, and Olajuwon ain't helping with nothing. He don't even want to help his wife cook dinner. He just said he'll be there to supervise and tell him when to add more salt or whatever. So I wonder really, does Olajuwon really know how to cook besides like those little IHOP pancakes with the bananas and the blueberry mouth? Does he really know how to cook? Because he don't seem to want to help or do. Maybe he wants everybody else to do everything for him, including Steve. So while Steve is cooking up the meal, he's trying to run the idea with the guys about he's having trouble with Noi dealing with social media. Like Noise pretty much blasting him every chance he gets when they have an argument, throwing like little subliminal messages and whatever. But guess who speaks up? Your boy Olajuwon. As I tell you, like the husbands, they really get very insightful and compassionate and all that when it comes to somebody else's situation. And Olajuwon is really no different. I mean, when I even thought about in the conversation, Olajuwon talking about he was actually praying for Lil Michael and Jasmina, that I guess that Michael would open up, with confidence to work on their marriage or whatever. And I'm thinking like, that's cool coming from anybody else, but that's Olajuwon. The same guy who sat right across front of Katina and talking down to her about her cooking or where she's at in life. And she telling this man she need a break, but he keep going. So this is the man who wants compassion and understanding from, I guess, or suggested to other people. Because Steve was just saying how hurtful that the social media posts were. And Olajuwon flat out said, well, like, hey, if it's hurting you, then it should be stopped. And I'm like, for real, Olajuwon? You could really say that. So like when Dr. Viviana was talking to Katina Olajuwon, Katina sitting there crying her eyes out, got bags in her eyes. Looked like she'd been crying all night, talking about the tone that he uses with her. But he don't even look her way to comfort her. But he thinks that Noise should stop making the post because Steve's hurt, which is true. But again, it just can't come from Olajuwon. It just can't, because he don't have that same compassion and empathy for his wife. He won't console her or comfort her. So it's really strange because, like, if you're giving that advice, you should be living that way. I think that's for anybody. So Steve finished making the dinner for everybody. They sitting down. They about to eat. And Olajuwon and Katina was in a confessional just pointing out how Michael and Jasmine are getting closer. You can kind of tell by their body language and everything. And they in their Olajuwon and Katina in a confessional, like they got everything sewed up. Like they've been married for 5 years or whatever. And, they got a rock solid marriage. And we know that it's far from that. So while they were sitting at the table, Katina did mention that her and Olajuwon were doing well without any blips. They got that blips from Mark and Lindsay. And saying that it was okay because Olajuwon inserted that in Katina's conversation. Like, no, we haven't had any blips. And Olajuwon lets everybody know that Katina has been consistently putting effort in week by week. And he really appreciates that about her. And like I said, when we talk about Olajuwon, we have to use exceptions. With somebody else, it will probably be a touching moment. You was like, oh, okay, a husband is really appreciating his wife and recognize like all her work and all of that. But again, it's Olajuwon. When I kind of translated from Olajuwon, it's like he's comfortable with Katina like doing the heavy lifting in the marriage. And I don't mean boxes. I mean the emotional things or things that have to be done. He put it on her back and make it her job to do everything that's going to hold them together. And that's not something to be proud of, like, because it's supposed to be a two-way street. They're supposed to be working together to make their marriage better. But again, we're talking about Olajuwon. So, I said in my other segments or whatever, I believe Married at First Sight did put together, like, I don't know, a T-shirt package for all the couples. Because I did notice Olajuwon had the T-shirt on, I'm talking to you, not at you. That's one of the tools that Pastor Cal gave him to use with Katina, because he doesn't seem to like respect what she's saying, or he talks down or demeaning to her. So I know he didn't buy it on his own. I know production made him wear that. So Katina and Olajuwon, while they at the retreat, they go into like a little, let's call it a pet and zoo date, at one of the farms, and they see some alpacas, and I'm like, nah, alpacas. Alpacas are the long neck animals that they're pretty much in the, let's say, the llama family. And if anybody knows llamas, llamas will spit in your face, unprovoked or whatever. You don't have to be doing anything. They could be just looking nice and sweet and regular, and they'll do that. And I'm like, nah, we gotta go pet something else, a sheep or a pig or something, not no llama, no alpaca. And they actually showed a scene where pretty much a alpaca just finished giving birth to a baby alpaca, and then they showed the afterbirth hanging out and everything. I'm like, why do we need to see this? Can we see something else? I mean, uh, it was just nasty. So, but I'm gonna tell you something. Something is like really awful wrong with Olajuwon. I don't know if it's a speech impediment or we know Olajuwon is a little special anyway. We know that. We know that. The medicine bottle he got prescribed to him tell us that something's a little off. But anyway, he calling the placenta a placenta, and he calling the alpaca a gazebo. Like something up here missing. It's something wrong. But for real, he was kind of funny this episode. Like I can't stand Olajuwon, but he was kind of funny like throughout the whole episode. And the date will seem fun and adventurous, but with everything, it would always have to be an exception with Olajuwon because he is an exceptional person and not in a complimentary way. Like the date they have and with he and Katina having, it seems fun, but it's almost like Katina she has to like redeem herself from what being scared of the horses like on the honeymoon to show Olajuwon like, hey, I'm adventurous, or I'm willing to try something that I normally would, or something. It's more like of what's pleasing him, and that's been like the makeup of their marriage. And like I said, it's two people in it. What about Katina needs? What about Katina wants, or things that she wants to do? It's all about Olajuwon being pleased and having everything that he wants, and that's the way he set it up. And we can never forget. Again, at the wedding, his brother told her like, he's going to groom you. He's going to mold you to be the wife that he wants. So that's exactly what's happening, and his plan is going along well. So after they finish playing with the alpacas or whatever, the gazebos, and Olajuwon playing the romantic picnic dinner out there in the field or whatever. And I guess I can say he planned it because a lot of y'all say that y'all was so impressed with Michael planning Jasmina's their 30-day anniversary with the donuts and the wine that production gave and set up all that. So I'm gonna say this is the first time we've seen Olajuwon do something special for Katina, even though Katina told him what was in the picnic basket. But that's how it is. Like, how can we get excited? Like, oh, he's so romantic. He planned a beautiful picnic lunch for his wife. Married at First Sight production put that there, but okay. It was something that kind of like I said, they were having like a wonderful time or whatever, or however it looked. But when they was going into, I guess, speaking about the childbirth, about the gazebos having babies or whatever, they Olajuwon and Katina got into, when she would want to have a child. And she, remember, even at the wedding, she had kind of said it was like 2 years, and Olajuwon was saying like 3 years. But Olajuwon he questioned Katina, saying like, hey, like, you still doing school, right? So how many years you got in school? I don't know what type of school Katina's in. I don't know if she's getting her master's or she's getting her bachelor's, but she got 2 more years to go. And Olajuwon saying, yeah, you want a kid in 2 years, but you got 2 more years of school. The timeline is kind of off. And guess what? We're going to go to another exception. He's right. But, his delivery or his tone is always iffy. It's always off or whatever, because it seems slightly aggressive. I know some people don't like losing, but I read body language, posturing, all that, any and everything, tone of voice, everything. That's Olajuwon, Mr. Aggression, even when it's something light. And he's pretty much letting Katina know, like, hey, I'm concerned about your timeline because, like, you're going to school or trying to finish school, then you want to have a baby. Like, really, how does that work out? Because for real, Olajuwon saying like, I said I want to travel. I want to do a lot of things that I want to do, but in the same time, when explaining this, Olajuwon finds a way to insult Katina, saying like, over the past 5 years, I've worked, I've sacrificed, I paid off my bills, my student loans, my house, like, and I don't know the circumstance. I normally just try to watch the show at face value, but regardless of what, Olajuwon ain't paid no house off in Boston in 5 years. I don't believe that for 1 second. The word on the YouTube streets is that he inherited his grandmother's house, but you let people talk and they talk real big. Yeah, you it's very difficult to pay off $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in 5 years. But okay, I'm still not going with that. But we'll let him say it without fighting him so much. But he pretty much tells Katina like, you didn't do that. You didn't sacrifice. You didn't plan your life out, and you did your fun. Well, nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that. Like, he's insulting her still again, pretty much saying she's not where he is, and he's made the sacrifice to put his life in a place of stability, and Katina has not, and she's still trying to find stability. And I can understand that, because if she's going to school to, I guess, be in a particular field that she's not already in, or have a job or get a job that she's not already established yet, it will be difficult to have a child, start a new career, and pretty much still be finishing school, or just finishing school, because you don't know what happened. She won't know what happened when she gets pregnant. Anything can happen. She could be bedridden. She could be ill. Anything. So you really can't map it out like that. And bottom line, a large one, like, you ain't going to hold my life up. Whatever. You want to have a baby because he said because you're older. And I guess, let's say, pregnancy wise, yeah, you want to try to have your baby by 35 to reduce complications. I mean, even though women do it after that age, I understood what he was saying, but he was just pretty much telling, like, that's really going to be your baby, and you need to be able to take care of it. You ain't going to impact my life in that. And I want to travel. I've been sitting in the house for 5 years, and I want to enjoy all his money and all his paid off houses and all his American Express and visas that's open, and his savings and all of that. So Katina's looking like kind of confused, saying like, well, I may come from a different mindset because I'm in a single parent household. Olajuwon's from a single parent household. Let's not get it twisted. But Katina just feels like you could still do it. Especially, you can still have a family and have a career and have it all. Which she's right, but it will take a lot of cooperation from her husband to really get it done. And we see that Olajuwon is not on board with that. And again, I get that. Those are the type of conversations that they have to have. But you can see the frustration with Olajuwon. And again, those digs on Katina, because that's what they were digs about what she has not done yet in her life to establish. It's wrong. And the conversation was getting, you could feel a little the tension, and it was getting a little snippy and all of that. So both of them saying in their confession were pretty much like the other person's going to have to decide if their goals are being met, and do they really want to get married. But I don't believe for a second that they're going to break up. As I said, Olajuwon has started his molding process in this situation very early, and it has taken well. So we see Michael and Jasmine, they're hosting a field day event. They're having different games planned for all the couples. And Jasmine comes in and announces, Beyonce's here, and Olajuwon what's she going to sing and dance? Which, I thought it was funny. Olajuwon had a lot of little jokes throughout this episode, and everybody's pretty much, they're having a good time, playing all the games, dodgeball, flip the cup, and all that good stuff. And Katina was playing, and competitive con man Steve, takes a dodgeball and blasts Katina in the hip and dropped her, and they made a shotgun sound or a gun sound, bam, and you can hear a large one say, "Man, you shot my wife," because that's what it looked like. She got hit and fell, and it looked funny. I ain't see nobody come help her up, but they went to commercial, and the fun didn't stop there. The most fun they had was, and in the evening, Michael and Jasmine put together a game called Most Likely, So when you pretty much vote on who you would think somebody would most likely to do something when they bring up a topic. Uh, but a couple of things that I saw that was very interesting about Olajuwon, him and Katina didn't really get picked for anything most likely to do something, but I thought that the answers that he put down was like really interesting. In a sense, when they asked who would most likely lie to their friends about their sex life, or who would different things like who would most likely stay home and all that kind of stuff. It was but really what I thought about that most likely to lie about sex to your friends, because a lot of people are saying that Olajuwon and Katina have already had sex, but they haven't confirmed it for everybody on the camera. And I'm really starting to believe that. So when he said that he would probably lie about sex to his friends, I'm like, yeah, y'all might be on to something with that one. So as far as the game was going, it was all, fun and giggles and all of that until psychosensitive Lindsay got really offended by something. So pretty much the game was over, but I'll go into more detail with the Mark and Lindsay recap. So we see the morning after. This is the last day of the couples retreat. And we see Jasmine, and she's preparing brunch for the couples. Really, it wasn't already planned because Lindsay had planned to make some type of an Italian dish for the group. But Lindsay has a medical emergency. And so Jasmine has to step in and cook. So everybody's sitting at the table, and Katina had mentioned that in order for her and Olajuwon to, I guess, connect in a stronger way, they have to have like deeper conversations, I guess, in relations to their future. And Olajuwon pretty much said like when they get to talking about real life circumstances or whatever, the conversations get ugly. They get real ugly, and he always got to go to the left with it, because I guess when he gets frustrated or doesn't like something, he gets super heated. But he did decide to, he always does the love bombing thing after he talked bad about Katina. He got to tell her how strong she is, how great she is, and Katina always keeps it real, and it's possible love there, and he always kind of refers to love like maybe they could be in love, or he could be in love with Katina, but would never say it. Maybe his mother never told him she loved him, so he don't really want to touch it, because we can tell by his actions that he hasn't had many true intimate interactions with women. So it's a lot to unpack with Olajuwon. So pretty much for Katina Olajuwon, that was it. And as I tell y'all, drop down in them comments. Let me know what you think, what I've missed, something you want to add, and let's get it together. See if we can come up with this one. And as I always tell y'all, I appreciate the support. Stay rocking with me, and get down in those comments. And I always tell y'all could be anywhere in this YouTube world, but you're here with me. I really appreciate it, and I really mean it.